All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I think I can cover 5 stocks on this one in my normal 3 chapters. All right, so standalone, I want to talk about SoFi. After that, I'll take a look at Marathon and WULF. And then after that, we'll take a look at DWAC and Rumble. All right. So I think each are interesting buckets on their own. You know what I mean? And SoFi, look, I say this all the time. Does not matter what the 4 letters, 3 letters, or 5 letters are. Doesn't matter what the sector is. When there are too many moving averages too tight, there's nothing you can do. The lines are in control, and that's what's been happening with SoFi, and now it's starting to get a little on the scarier side. All right. Very, very interesting differences between Marathon and WULF. Excuse me. I am not 100% what the news is. I'll probably grab my phone while I'm making this and look at the news kind of live, right? But 2 very, very different charts, one above moving averages and one just, again, kind of like this one, not, right? And then DWAC and Rumble. Both are living in this rumor mill thing, right? I think it's interesting because DWAC was a real good example of why people say buy the rumor and sell the news, right? They don't say buy the news, and I think the news that everyone knew, right? That the Trump social thing, everyone knew it was going to happen. So when the headline came, it wasn't really that like big hammer, right? So just my thoughts, but I will give you more of my thoughts and opinions shortly. But before we go any further, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are several actually, but there are horizontal support and resistance lines that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad if you disagree. Look, anything you can do helps me so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here, giving me your time, oh, I'm so grateful for it all right? So SoFi, let's talk about SoFi, and so much has happened on SoFi, right? We came off what sounded like a very, very good earnings not that long ago. It was on the 29th of January, basically the end of it. The first positive numbers, everyone was happy. There were some rumblings in the Discord that, hey, the OPEX wasn't that good. They basically spent $5 to make that $1 positive. Not really positive when you look at it like that, right? So that was at least some reason to justify why it came down. Now, I started the video with it. I'm going to say it again, all right? I love my moving averages, and it's funny, some people have said, hey, are there too many moving averages? Because look, I already have some lines that I draw. There's always at least 5 of those lines. Like, is it too much, right? And in my opinion, they're important in their all little ways, right? And hopefully it's not too much. And this is one of the reasons why I need them all, right? When 3 lines are tight, it's a lot. When 4 lines are tight, it's a lot. When all 5 lines, literally 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, are just this like cents away from each other, it's I literally call it a tornado. It shoots you up and spits you down, and shoots you up and spits you down, and shoots you up and spits you down. And you know what essentially is horizontal is filled with a lot of these scary downs and like overexciting ups that, you know, you might actually kind of buy into and get trapped. Like it is horrible, all right? And what's now starting to happen, right? Because look, you get a number of golden crosses and death crosses when the lines are this tight, right? Green one is going above them, green one's going below them, green one's going above all of them, green one's going below them. Like it's hard to just say, look, it seems like there's bad golden crosses happening and continuing, because again, for all I know, we're about to just go right back up on the tornado, right? And hey, it's gonna magically come back up to here. So me personally, I don't like trading stuff like this. Look, there are actually 2 channels. It's basically between this 930 and 740. You called it 7, right? Well, I didn't draw the line there, but it looks like that's what it is. I mean, you're basically, buy down here, sell up here, right? Like, I'm not here to tell you what to buy and sell, right? Like, that's not what my videos are, right? But you can play channels really well. Me personally, I don't like that. That's a little too ping pong for my strategy. I really need this to break the 200 and fly. All right, I'm gonna delete the lines. I think there's a decent amount of lines, and I'm gonna redraw a couple. 9:30 and 10. Whatever. We'll see if they're important. All right. What am I looking for? I need this to escape, not just break all 5, but escape. All right. And for now, I think. All right. Let me draw this. Where are you? Okay. Hold on. So this day the high was 916. Sorry, not the high. The close. The close was 916. This day was 915. All right, now we got to go just a little higher. Man, that sucks because that's a pretty big distance from. But again, this is one of the problems with the tornado. Look, I know it sounds silly, but I really would not like this. I don't think I want. You can hear the hesitation in my voice because I know it sounds silly. Believe me, the 200 line is all the way down here, and I'm talking about all the way up here, right? And I see green, 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 red, red, red. Like, let me draw this line right here, right? Like, there's a little bit of me that really wants to say that because, right? Like, green, 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 nothing. Green, green, red, green, red. Like, I that line I don't think I trust, and I think it's this. And again, you hear my hesitation, but I think that's the answer. I don't think I can trust it right here. Cause yeah, like I said, the tornado, the worst case starts to become this actually is losing the lines and we actually are coming down, all right? Because where are we to that? Okay. Yeah, you can kind of see that actually was an important line that almost you can say saved that. And then really, my goodness, oh yeah, my goodness, it's basically this. I would even put it like right there, give or take. So we cannot lose, let's just call it $7. All right, I obviously drew this 702 line. We cannot, because if we lose this, green, 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 red, 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 green, 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 whole lot of nothing will be a maybe. Oh my goodness, quick. Like, this is arguably a line that I can probably draw right here. You can see it looks like it's the bottom of this guy as well. It's this little horizontal right here. I don't even know if 645 is going to be that strong. I don't. I can just see this thing going from 7 to there, all right? This is and it's all, oh my goodness. The goal, it's funny. I am hoping that this thing comes up to 8 for real. Like, get me back into the tornado instead of making me start to worry about 7. I think that's probably going to be the biggest takeaway. I don't think there's any point in talking about 10 or higher on this stock right now. I'm literally talking about not even touching this thing until it's into the healthy 9s, right? So let me know your thoughts and opinions again. Let me know if you disagree, right? Look at this thing, right? The weekly, first of all, the weekly does not have a 200 moving average, right? You can see in the box over there, there's only 4 colored lines. There is no purple line. There's no 200 moving average. Yes, there's no 200 week average because this stock has not been trading for 200 weeks just yet, all right? All of the moving averages, all 4 are very, very tight. Those 3 are obviously very tight, and we went down and up and down and up and down and up and down. And are we going to go back up or are we going to slip, right? I was talking about the 7 line. What's the 100 moving average here? Look at that, 685. 685 is probably going to be a stronger line than 7. But again, this is weekly. I can see the daily losing 7, falling maybe to that 650 number I just mentioned, and then peaking back up to that 680 we just saw in the weekly, right? That's kind of a guess. But yeah, overall, I am definitely sitting on the pessimistic side. We have a negative MACD, all right? We don't have the prettiest of RSIs, and it really was not that long. Sorry to laugh right there. That was a little inappropriate. It was not that long ago that this RSI was at a 14. It was literally like, what, 2 months ago? Yeah, I see this all the time. You have a super low RSI, you come back to the middle, you just come back down to the super low, then you'll go back to the middle, then down to the super low until something happens. This thing needs news. This thing needs news very, very quickly. Not looking good on the daily, not looking good on the weekly, not looking good on the volume side. Hey, look, please let me know if you agree. Please let me know if you disagree. Otherwise, we'll go into the next tranche, which is Marathon and WULF. I don't know which one I wanted to start with, Marathon or WULF, but I'll probably jump kind of in between both on this. But very, very quickly, if you can please subscribe, if you can please share this video, it does wonders for the algorithms, all right? So let's get into it. And like I said in the beginning, 2 different charts to say the least, right? Both definitely in this crypto sector, right? And Marathon is just struggling with the moving averages, while WULF, big day. You can see it looked identical to Marathon, right? This thing was before the big pop under most moving averages, basically sitting at that blue line, right? Marathon right now basically sitting on the blue line. It looks like it also had that same decent day. I mean, look, let me take that back. 16% on this Wednesday is well beyond a decent day. 16% is a beautiful double-digit day, all right? So I do not want to undermine that, all right? Obviously, it was a little lackluster when I saw that same day. This one brought, what, 35, right? So probably a little cavalier with my wording, but yeah, Marathon, 16% day on the same day, good candle, right? It just couldn't get over the 20. And you know, it's I pair these two for a reason, and then each of these as like an individual boss almost, right? But yeah, it looked good. It looked like it got us over the 8 and the 50. It looked like we had bounced on the 100 moving average. Confirmation is king. I always talk about confirming and confirmation, right? So I'm not really liking where we're at. Obviously, we're under the 50. It also kind of looks like we're under about half of that candle, right? So I don't like it when you give up more than 50% of that big thing that brought you up here, right? So I'm actually a little worried we're going to be heading into the basically flat 20s, maybe 19s, maybe even 1950. I can see that happening. So I'm not going to like Marathon until this breaks. Let's put it right here. I think this is a good number. 2388. Let's just say 2390, all right? I think if we can break 2390, that's where I'm going to start kind of having these $30 dreams, all right? I think it'll maybe get a little bit of resistance around 2650, but yeah, I think green, red, green, red. Like that's a nice little channel right there between here and here, right? So get me over the 20 moving average, make me believe that's what I want to see. All right, WULF. What happened with TeraWulf? All right, so I'm grabbing my phone. Let me just see the news really quickly. 1 second, please. Again, this is the problem with doing things unscripted, right? You know me. I'm telling you, I do not know what most of the companies do when I'm trading them, all right? And this is a good little moment right here. But what was the news? So scrolling a little bit. When was this? 3 days ago. I'm so sorry. I have to scroll a good amount of bit. Oh, earnings. Interesting. It was earnings. Oh. Okay, I wasn't ready to make this video is what the lesson of this was. So there was earnings. There are some earnings reactions going on this candle. Interesting. All right. Okay. Let me focus on the technicals really quickly. and then let me get into the earnings thought and the earnings confirmation across these three. All right. So on the technical side, look, this obviously broke. Okay. This day right here, yet the Tuesday closes right here at 172. This actually was over the 100 moving average the day before. All right. So this isn't really a line that was broken on the same day, but this breaks obviously these four right here. All right. Breaking a single line is difficult, let alone two, let alone three, let alone four, let alone four this tight. That I don't know if you watched the SoFi part or not, but clusters of moving averages that tight kill stocks. They don't just let them run past it and then some. You know what I mean? So there was some interesting earnings, and I mean, look at the earnings day. The high of the day was 233. That's the third line. That number, that 233, is also the top one. That's exactly where it closed. They literally kept buying and buying and buying the entire day. Now, the earnings confirmation has not happened yet. All right. The day after is a doji. All right. Maybe not a textbook doji, right? Not as pretty as something like that or whatever, but that's a doji to me. That is not a good full candle that tells me, yup, we just broke four moving averages. Yup. Our market loves our earnings. Let's go. Okay. This doesn't count. This doesn't count either to me. It doesn't. All right. I'm going to zoom out. All right. It doesn't count to me for a zoomed out reason, but also just on its own. Again, you need to make a stock make you believe. All right. And right now, WULF is trying to tell me, look, I am not like Marathon. Marathon had a good day, couldn't escape all the lines, and is making this chart reader's dude worried, right? WULF is looking like, oh, no, I destroyed them all and I'm going, right? And I need just a little bit more to believe, all right? So that candle right there doesn't make me believe these are destroyed and all that. The other thing I don't like, look at this right here. Look at this candle. So this candle opens, you can see it. It's the second line, and I try to draw it as best I could. This thing opens at $2.48. Today actually closes at $2.46. I would have really liked us to start getting into this candle. And I think the inability to do that speaks a little bit to me, all right? So I'm zooming out just to kind of see where to draw the next lines. All right, it looks like that's going to be just a little higher than where we're at, but I want to draw that. Oh, interesting. That's not that much higher than we were at. Okay, I wanted to draw that, and then I want to draw not that exact line I was at. I think I'm going to put it right here. Actually, it might be that exact line. I think it could have gone just a little lower. I think it's right here. That's our line, 252. Okay. I think that's still fine. I guess I would want a little more than 252, just given that we're at 256, because that itself is not going to make a pretty candle, right? But, all right, let's do this. Let me do this then. If we're going to make 252 the line, I would basically expect it to go there. Okay, I think this is our healthy move right here. I would want this to get maybe even just a little over 252. Maybe if you're willing to like let this thing get into the 260s, I think that those couple extra pennies of confirmation will do you good. I think if we can get in there, there's a good reason to believe we're going to add $1 to a stock that only has $2, right? That said, if we don't confirm, I can see us coming down to $2. That actually would be about a 20% loss, a little less than maybe a 15% loss, right? Because if we don't confirm we've broken the lines, we're going to end up coming back to the lines, all right? So maybe it's even a little nice. I'm gonna do that. I want to change this to a little bit of a higher. No. That's what I was looking for. I said 260. This is 252. Let's call it 257. That's our compromise. Break this line, and I think I'm going to be hungry for $3. I think the wolf will go hunting for that. Otherwise, like I said, I think my fear could be a drop down to 2-ish. Because again, you can see it from where we're at to down here. Green, 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 red, 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 green, 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 red, red, red. This green, green, green can also turn into red, red, red as much as people want it to go up. Look, I like the MACD. I like the RSI. I like the volume. I know it's doing that. Friday's always a loser day, so I kind of just ignore Friday volume, but 65 is a real healthy number on the RSI, and that's a good divergence, positive MACD. It seems like it wants more. I'm just not here making that assumption, all right? So let me make one more. I want to do one more. I know we're 20 minutes in, but I want to cover the next set. Let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions, even if you disagree. Let's take a look at DWAC real quick. So there's a lot of lines. I'm going to delete them, and we'll draw a couple more. But yeah, interesting day on DWAC to say the least. All right. So really quickly, if you can please subscribe, please share this video. It does wonders. So let me delete this really quickly. We will, I'm sure, draw a number of other lines together. I'm talking like Bob Ross here. So first, let's talk about the news. And I saw a number of reactions to what obviously looks like an ugly red candle in front of us on today, right? But the news basically was, again, I said in the beginning of the video, what everyone already knew. Everyone already knew DWAC was going to be the Truth Social SPAC, right? Like that news headline, that news approval, the stockholders voting on it, there was no question that that was going to happen, right? So I think the fact that the headline came and no, big green rocket came, I think it makes sense. There was no new news. There was no like meat on that bone. I mean, the news would have been if it didn't get approved, and that obviously would have been bad on its own and horrible and much worse than this, right? But yeah, hey, I mean, if my mom is making dessert and I smell it and I see it, don't get me wrong, I'm happy to eat and stuff, but yeah, it's not that big a surprise that I smelled it as it was coming, and like, you know what I mean? So that was a real dumb analogy. You can see it's 9:15 right now, right? So the juju isn't there as good right now, but yeah, it's just the headline I don't think was worth it. Now, my fear really is we might be losing the 50, and if we lose the 50, we might be coming down to the 100 all the way down here, sub 30. That's more than a 20% loss, right? Lose three. That's basically where we're at, right? So I am very, very much worried about the 50 moving average. And look, I'm going to delete the lines because obviously the moving averages themselves matter, right? But between the 50 and the 100, there is nothing but green, 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 nothing and nothing, right? So that could be a fast move. And hey, as I zoom out, you can also see it right in between the same lines. Green, 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 a whole mess of nothing. Red, 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 a whole mess of nothing. Same green and red we just talked about, right? So that's a fast channel right there. It really, really is a fast channel, and be careful with that one, all right? You might have seen it when I zoomed out. It looks like there's something right there. Maybe this 30-40 might save it. And hey, look, the 100 moving average is still kind of coming up, so maybe it'll get to 30-40. I think I'll draw that. I think that 30-40 is probably worth a good line. 30-60. Again, my lines, I'm telling you, I'm not here to draw perfect lines. I'm here to draw good enough, and good enough will do you very well. Believe me when I say that, all right? Look, we're sitting basically at this plateau right here, all right? This is also the top of this big IPO pop, right? Like, this is a real important moment that we're at, and it does seem like we're struggling with it. You can see we've basically been here. Let me just draw it, right? Let me just draw it really quickly. Dun, dun, dun. Dun, dun, dun. The top of that is basically here. Let me even just dun, 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 right here. The top of that is this little horizontal moment, and it's basically this little horizontal moment, and it's kind of what it seems like we failed today, all right? And the news is not what took us over, right? So yeah, it seems like we'll be heading down to 30.50 again. I said it earlier, the average 100 is actually sitting at 28.50 as we speak right now, right? That's a scary MACD because we've actually fallen into the negative, and that's a scary divergence. The divergence I want is green going up and away, not down and away, right? So divergence just means two lines going away. That's a bad divergence, right? I also see the same red over green and the same scary divergence here, right? So what does this thing need to do? I mean, I think this thing says it all, right? Like, you might even want to wait for 50 to break. Again, there's nothing wrong with waiting a little bit and getting a little better confirmation. But yeah, at the very, very minimum, I think I need this thing over 45, 40, let's call it, before I would touch it. So DWAC, let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Let's come to Rumble real quick. It's a little bit longer of a video than I wanted to do. This is a hardcore line, all right? Real quick, if you can please subscribe, please share the video. It would very, very much help with the algorithms, all right? I know a lot of people are hyped on Rumble. I know a lot of people are talking about like this catalyst and that catalyst and all that sort of stuff, all right? I'm going to zoom in and get rid of this big volume pop. I'm seeing a stock that is struggling with volume. It is nowhere near the 50-day volume line, all right? The great thing still remains, we're over the 200 moving average, all right? Since we broke it right here, you know I was very bullish right here. The first moment we hit that 811 wall, right, which I'll get to again. But this has at least maintained the 200, and overall we've been way over it than under it. Sometimes I talk about oscillating up and down over lines. We're not even really oscillating very hardcore. We're just nice and smoothly holding it, all right? So as much as I don't like us under the 8, as much as I'm actually kind of worried that we're going to lose the 20, it seems like the 50 might now even be coming and saving it, let alone, you know, I still am holding the fact that the 200 is our friend. The 200 is going to help this stock until it tells me otherwise, all right? Nothing will matter here until we can destroy this 811 line. This 811 line has been a very, very, very pesky line, and you know, you can see it. It was an important moment here. It was a bunch of peaks on the bottom, right? And now it's trying to become this like okay, I said that so poorly. This was a support that bounced. No, not really that one. Support that bounce, support that bounce, support that bounce, support that bounce. All of a sudden became a resistance that was lost. Resistance, resistance, resistance. That was a better way of saying it. This is a difficult line, all right? Let's see if we can break this thing and you know, go from there. But that's a hard 811 for sure. So as long as we stay over 660, I'm bullish. No one wants to drop from here to there, believe me, right? So I might start getting a little bit worried, a little closer to like 715, 710, right? But again, this can come all the way down to 660, and I would still smile. I would still look at this thing as holding the 200 moving average and still within an attempt to break that pesky line, all right? So let me know your thoughts. Let me know your opinions. Even if you disagree, hey, I appreciate you so much.